I wanted to start with an impact, but then I guess Arsenal just covered me. We're live on the All Balls channel, and I have Statman, Stat Guru with me, Kyle Pereira. Good opening weekend.
Very good opening weekend. There hasn't been a single goalless game this weekend. It was goal fest all throughout.
With the jersey you're wearing, of course, it was a happy weekend, but we are going to start off with the biggest story of all, Arsenal. Now we've had a lot of mixed comments. Okay, so before we get into a little detail about the game, just tell me what you felt about it because it was embarrassing.
To be honest, between Brentford and Arsenal, I just felt Brentford wanted it much, much, much more than what Arsenal did. I mean, you could see the face of like Ian Wright. He was in such like distraught, such disgust that this team has been performing like this. I mean, we saw. I mean, even when we did a background check, that Arsenal had 65 percent possession of the ball, 22 shots versus a Brentford side, newly promoted side, but yet they failed to create a big chance in front of goal. That just says everything.
But just tell me something. Now they've come up, into the Premier League after a really, really, really long time. Okay, they wanted more, yes. They've done well in the championship, yes. But a team with a reputation of Arsenal, whether they're missing Lacazette or Aubameyang, that's fine. But they still had quality on that pitch, enough quality to sink a side like Brentford. But you just could not see the creativity. 22 shots, 17 on target, 13 corners, kind of dominated possession, 65-35. But there was no edge. There was no final pass. There was no push for the Arsenal side. And why is that? I mean, they didn't do well last season. They wanted to make amends. They kind of goofed up preseason as well, and they've just continued from there. It's like a very slippery slope.
I mean, true, it is a very slippery slope because even if you saw the post-game interview with Arteta, I mean, clearly he looked very, very unhappy and like completely like saying there were tons of mistakes and like he can't believe that this has happened. But how can you say that you set up the team in such a way like you're saying, Brentford have come back into the Prem after 75 years. They are the smallest team in the Premier League right now. They've made the least amount of transfers in the transfer window, and they've still come out in the community stadium in front of that packed stadium and won for it. And 2-0, not even conceding a goal, 2-0. I think that only one shot, which was not even a big chance in my opinion, that one shot that Pepe got. I mean, the keeper made a great save for that, but other than that, I didn't see Arsenal anywhere. It was just like a dead football game. Like only time Brentford came on the ball, you could actually see the players pushing up, pushing. But Arsenal kept getting pushed back. I was like, what are you doing? Like Xhaka getting pushed back, Ben White getting pushed back. Like you're a combined total of 100 million euros.
Exactly. I was just about to say Ben White is 50 million. But I mean, Brentford deserved it. They went for it. They got it. The second goal, you could see Arsenal on their heels. They wanted it more. They pushed in. They put numbers in the box. And I think they opened off brilliantly. These 3 points are going to go a long way. And Arsenal aren't doing themselves any favors with the fixtures that are coming up for them. I
Oh,
mean,
no
if you've seen the
chance, no
internet, it's ha
chance.
ha 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 ha. But
But besides it even being a meme right now, I mean, Chelsea is not going to be an easy ask. Neither is City after that. So I don't know how it's going to go down like this.
exactly. So Arsenal, I mean, long way to go, but great win for Brentford. Let's just see, how they do in the next game. But I don't want to keep you waiting, and I want to come to the big game. Stop. No, you have to keep the smile. You have to wait for it. Man United 5, Leeds 1. This is following a 6-2 the last time at Old Trafford. Take me through that game because I know you are going to.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, I can't believe I celebrated a signing like that. Like I was on my feet, clapping and watching Varane step out of the jersey. That's how a friend of me and were talking the other day, and like that's how you announce a signing, like in front of a packed audience at Old Trafford. They're making the noise, they're getting the crowd going. The players are feeding off that energy, and you clearly saw that. Even with the, I mean, even at 1-1, you could just see United continuously pushing, pressing. And my God, Paul Pogba. I honestly, if I could say that again, Paul Pogba, if he had a game like this every game, we'd be unstoppable. That was
But what about
sublime.
go back? No, go back to the miss.
Oh, I
Why
mean,
the
he
step
made.
over? Why the
I,
step
gue- I
over?
guess, I guess, but he did do. You can't say anything. He made up completely for that. Completely, he made up for that. He stepped up as soon as he missed that shot.
And for all the haters, Bruno gets a hat trick without a penalty, so you guys can shut up for like a couple of weeks at least. But biggest story is Fred.
Getting on the
How is
score sheet.
who? How is Fred scoring?
I mean, guess right place at the right time, right, to slot it back.
But 5 goals for United. But I think unarguably the best goal of the game was Luke Ayling. And that's the thing about Leeds. They just don't stop.
True.
Even at 4-1, even at 3-1, even at 2-1 for that matter, though we hit back immediately, Leeds just did not stop coming at you. And that is something, that's the Bielsa effect. That's murder ball. But again, it's going to cost them like it did because they leave gaps in the middle.
Yeah, true. I mean, even though they Bielsa left a lot of gaps with uh, Calvin Phillips being missing in the center and Cork playing in the center, because of that, United were able to create 19 chances, which is a lot to create in the 90 minutes that you're given, and 8 of them one target. Like, I mean, a hat trick from Bruno and a quadruple of assists from Pogba. I don't know who else can lead the line, and the fact that I was more excited that we were missing players like a Cavani, like Rashford, Varane. Ahmad is still not come back. I know he's still a small player, but these are still players that are going to be missing in that squad. But they was nice. I don't know what to say.
And Sancho coming on gave you the jitters.
Sorry. Oh my God, Jaden. I can't wait for him to start next week against Burnley. To be honest, I'm rooting for him, Jaden.
Him or Varane.
Oof. Tough choice, but I'd say Jaden for sure because I've seen Varane play at the highest level, but now it's time for Jaden to step up and play that high level of football.
Happy with the win. You're clearly out of words. No, you're like
I I
you're still living that moment that okay 5-1.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like I was saying, when it's literally I can't believe I celebrated when Varane came out. First of all, Phil Jones is an idiot for not giving up the number 4 for whatever reason he had to give. But just seeing Varane step out and he looked so comfortable at Old Trafford, like with the shirt and everything, and then to have a performance like that, and then Varane going up to Rio and like it's just felt like such a homely thing to feel like that, to meet his idol, to be at the club he's loved for so long, and it was just something else. And then like breaking, I mean, Bruno broke the record. Paul Pogba was the only Manchester United player in the Premier League history to provide four plus assists in a single game. That's more than he managed the entire
He
last
had three
season.
in last season. Yeah, he had three all
Exactly.
of last season.
Mason Greenwood, I can't believe he scored his 18th Premier League goal overall. That makes him the fifth highest scoring teenager in the history of the competition. Only Anelka and Michael Owen are right there with him.
Wow,
That
if I
says
don't
a
stop you,
lot.
you're gonna go on, aren't you?
I can go on and on because this game was just like that. It was just like
But
that.
I think more than this, what I want to talk about is the second newly promoted side, which is Watford, taking on a settled Aston Villa, probably without, a Jack Grealish. Yes, but they still had enough firepower. But again, newly promoted side coming up. Watford experience, yes, in the Premier League, but taking Villa to the cleaners. I mean, at least for part of that game.
This game, honestly, I felt it could have been a 3-3 because Villa started pushing back very late on into the game towards the 70th, 80th minute. Unfortunately, that penalty, I mean, it was a clear penalty, and Danny Ings was not going to miss that. But if you saw the game before that, in the first half, Ismail Assar was constantly bombing that right hand flank. There was no catching him on that. Nobody
And
was
there was
stopping him
Dennis
on.
through the middle to give
Yeah,
him
I mean,
support.
exactly. It's constant support. Like you didn't. I mean, at Vicarage Road just sounded like Vicarage Road after so long. I mean, they were out in, out in. Now they've come back in, and they're the first time in the club's history that Watford have come out with 10 consecutive home league wins, which is a pretty big deal for a team like Watford.
And while we said that Brentford, yes, they came out after so many years, they're back to the Premier League and stuff. But in Watford's case, they've been here. And if you've got a 3-2 victory with a Troy Deeney on the bench, You know that you have a proven goal scorer there. You have his experience. So it's not like they only have 11 that can play. They have a bench,
Yeah.
which can, you know, it won't make it easy for probably the mid-table clubs to go there and get points.
The thing is that, like you're saying, they do have a bench. They do have Andy Gray on the bench. They do have Joshua King on the bench. They're all strikers that can come on and change a game. Like they may be smaller than the rest of the tops, but they can come on and change that game. But what do you think? Did Villa miss Jack Grealish in this though?
No, I just think Villa had bad team selection. You had Bertrand Traore, who had done so well. You did not play him. You know, you had a system that was working with McGinn and Douglas Lewis holding. Now, if one was not available, fine. But you follow that system. I think they mixed it around too much. Danny Ings probably looked like he hadn't settled in. You know, while he's Premier League experienced, I don't think he's still settled into the style of play with Aston Villa. The defense looked a little shaky. I don't want to blame the goalkeeper, but probably he could have saved a couple of them. But again, Watford, with the pace they have, with the strength they have, and I mean, Ismail Assar, Carl spoke about him, we spoke about him. He had taken it to Liverpool, he took it to Villa, and let's face it, Villa's not a small side anymore. Whether they have Grealish or they don't, they still have the firepower to take it to the teams. But I just feel Watford played the better football. Of course, they wanted it more. Their first game in the Premier League after coming back. And yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Villa tried, but, you know, too little, too late. And that
But
was that. But coming to comebacks, Villa could not complete it. West Ham could.
that was
Uh,
a good game.
it was, yeah, it
I think
was.
it was the
But
game. I
again,
think to me, honestly, I think it was the game of the weekend.
but also I feel again, you know, team selection. Newcastle missed a trick. Jamal Lascelles is probably your best defender. He is your captain. You cannot leave him on the bench for the first game. You know, you need something. Callum Wilson is on the score sheet, will probably get injured because Carl has made a case for him. But again, you know, it just shows that they were shaky at the back. And this is after West Ham have missed a penalty, and probably Antonio could have had a couple more.
True.
They were opening up with ease. They played a five at the back, but I mean, West Ham was just tearing them apart. You had Bowen, Fornals, Bendrama, Antonio, Suchek popping up in the box. You go 1-1, you go 2-1 down, and then you turn it around the way you do. It's absolutely insane. And this is without Lingard. West Ham caught form last season with the whole Lingard effect coming in, you know, bringing that energy. And now there's no Lingard, but Benrahma has suddenly come of age. He's become the player they thought he would be.
Yeah.
So West Ham is looking a very difficult side to beat, at least from the first game. Now, again, we're being very optimistic because it's only been one game.
One
But you
game.
kind of figure when you look at the team play that, you know, there is something, there is an energy about this team. Like Antonio is chaos to deal with.
Yeah, but even if you look at that, even I would say Alan Saint Maximum was chaos in the first half. He was running the show for Newcastle. He was cutting 2 3 players, just running at them. He didn't look like he wanted to stop. I mean, I hate to say this for a Newcastle fan, but I just feel like he's too good for that club. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the only one contributing throughout that club. Let's see now. Once a big signing like Joe, I can't say a big signing like Joe Villa, but
25 million, behave yourself.
but yeah, let's see what that happens. And like you're saying about Mikel Antonio, now he's equal Paolo Di Canio's club record at West Ham. But having said that, all 47 goals have come from inside the box. And I quote, not bad for a right
For a
back.
right back.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, to get promoted right back, right midfielder, right wing, then striker, I think is pretty cool. But
But then worry
Rahul,
for West Ham.
you can't say anything bad though. Declan Rice ran this show in this
No, he did. He did it for England. He did it for West Ham. But then again, if there is no Mikel Antonio, who goes up there?
Hmm,
It is
I guess
very, at least
Jared Bowen, if you ask me.
but will he do what an Antonio does? Will he be
No, not
able
at
to
the
bully
power, not at
defenders?
the
Exactly.
no, not at
Not even the
power.
pace, which is what I'm saying. For other teams, now for United, we said, you know, Bruno is the man. Bruno gets injured. Yes. Probably I'm getting ahead of myself, but looking at Pogba play, if you just tell him he's playing for France every game, I think that covers, the issue of having that creativity in the team. For West Ham, it's not the same. You lose a Mikel Antonio, you're kind of doomed for however much time he's out because you miss on those many goals and those many opportunities because of the kind of chances he creates, the kind of space he creates.
No, I agree. I agree. But from many of these pundits, they're saying that even if an Antonio, because we all know he is very injury prone, if he does go out, Jared Bowen can play there. Said Ben Rama can play there because why I'm saying this, they can also play a Lanzini behind them, Yarmolenko behind them, which will also kind of do the work that they were doing.
But I just feel, you need an out and out striker, which is what we're going to talk about in our next game. But for West Ham, you need that. And before I close off Newcastle, I just want to say that I think I am the reason they are finally signing a Santiago Munez. It's happening. It's finally happening.
The stars are aligned for you.
There is a real Santiago Munez coming in, and I swear I'm going to buy his jersey. But coming to missing number nines, we spoke about Heung-min Son being City's nemesis, and that happened. Guardiola eats his words. The Harry Kane team without a Harry Kane beat him. It's all over. And why not? I mean, I don't think Spurs deserved anything less from that game. They defended well. They controlled part of midfield, if not, the entirety of it. And they got the goal, which City didn't. City had their chances. I mean, I must add. But it's crazy what, just one striker, missing a striker can do. And it's not missing a striker. City have a striker, but he's sitting on the bench. And I think this is where Pep's tactics sometimes, don't pay off. Like the Champions League final against Chelsea, where there was no Fernandinho. Now there's no, striker. What do you do? Jack Grealish is 100 million, but it's not FIFA.
True. But see, even yesterday when I was watching the post-match conference between Micah and Dawson and Gary Neville and stuff, they were saying that Guardiola kind of got lucky last season not having a proper number 9 but playing a false 9, where he kind of got lucky with some of the wins. I mean, it can come down to luck, it can come down to skill. No one's disagreeing with the tactics of Pep Guardiola, but you cannot keep getting lucky with playing a false 9, especially in the Premier League. And Fernand Torres he's not a world-class number 9 that we're going to be constantly looking at. And another thing is, if you did note, I mean, we all noticed that Spurs only played on the counter attack. Now, who is the best in England that we know of that can counter that counter attack? And that's Kyle Walker, but he was on the bench. Cancelo's not going to run back and stop a Son or a Bergwijn.
But exactly, team selection, right? Your Laporte's on the bench. You have Stones on the bench, and you still play Nathan Ake. He's, again, I mentioned, he is a relegated defender who got transferred to Man City. He does not start for his national side. He is nothing compared to the other three centre-backs that City have. I mean, you play Fernandinho at the centre and he will be better than him. So I don't understand. He lost it probably at team selection. Benjamin Mendy, all of a sudden, Zinchenko he's good. He's proven himself. He's defended well. He can pass the ball. He starts for his national side. He's done well at the Euros. Why is that bench? Why is Kevin De Bruyne on the bench? It's not that he played the Olympics and he played the finals of the Euros, right? If he's fit enough to sit on the bench, he's fit enough to start. So then why this team selection? If you have Jesus on the bench, why would you not start him? I just feel that, Nuno took full advantage of the fact that Pep has not really put in his first strength side in there. And he beat them with pace. He beat Ake with pace. Bergwijn, Moura and Son took Ake to the cleaners. And Skip probably showed a little bit of inexperience in the middle, but then he had a Højbjerg next to him. I mentioned Sanchez and Dyer. Yeah. And I think we had this conversation where I mentioned that Sanchez and Dyer will make mistakes, which they did. The difference was City did not capitalize on those mistakes. The Mahrez volley, the header from I think Rodri, if I'm not mistaken, the shot from Cancelo, it just didn't come. It just didn't come together for City. And I think I probably blame that on team selection.
But I mean, we do agree on the fact that this could have been team selection and the way that Pep Guardiola set up his side. But having said that, 300 million on your bench, that is half of like a Brentford. That is an entire Brentford side. There's an entire
and
Brighton side. There's an entire Burnley side. 300 million on your bench.
550 million on the pitch.
But that just goes to show, right, that anything can happen in football, and like even Pep, he's lost 4 consecutive away games with the same opposition. How is that
Yeah, and
possible?
he's lost more amount of games to Spurs than he has lost to any other team.
And who's
And
been the
it's
main contributor with 3 goals?
Jun Son, exactly. We spoke about him not being as effective without Harry Kane. And I mean, let's just face it, it's not like, Bergwijn or Moura. Yes, Lucas Moura released the ball. Yes, Bergwijn played it to his feet, but he had a lot to do. He took on a defender from outside the box. He curled it into the corner. Edison could not really do anything about it, but it was all Son. Now, concerns about this first team is if he doesn't fire, who does? There are rumors of Kane. They're saying he's not fit. He has personal reasons, etc. City is preparing a bid. Now, if he comes to City, that makes it 700 million. I don't really know where this is going. I blame Neymar for screwing this market up, but I
Yeah,
just
true.
think that Spurs and Nuno, I think it was more a victory for Nuno than it was for Spurs. I
True.
think he kind of took on Guardiola head on in terms of tactics, and Guardiola, again, in his quest for experimentation, he just lost it.
No, but I agree with what you're saying, though. But as you were speaking earlier with the guys as well, that City did like kind of leave a very. I mean, they did kind of start very badly last season, but they just went on to create history and go and win the title and go to Champions League final. But you don't know. You can never say. But having
You
said
never know.
that,
They sign Kane, they'll win it again. You never know.
no. But you know what? I don't know. You see, even they're saying personal reasons and this thing and that thing, but they were saying like you're such a professional player. I'm talking on like behalf of what I've heard. Like Harry Kane is such a professional player, but still he was not at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the first game of the first season. I mean of the new campaign of the new season. What is Daniel Levy doing? Like, isn't he obliging to his transfer requests? And he's just putting. Kane has never put himself in bad light. He's never put himself in bad light in front of the country. He's never put himself in front of the press in a Spurs shirt. And because of Daniel Levy kind of doing these like, oh, I don't want you to leave, don't want you to do this, he's kind of put him in this bad light, which I don't think is fair to either player or club, and the club that is about to approach for him. But having said that, I think 160 million over 3 years is not acceptable, to be honest, especially after you spent 100 million. That's just my opinion.
I just feel he's going to go. But we're going to end this with our scores from the other games. One of the ones you wanted to talk about is Brighton turning around Burnley. Chelsea dominant against, Vieira's Crystal Palace. Chalobah with that emotional goal. And let me say, it was a hell of a hit.
Yeah, it
But
was a good hit.
yeah, I mean, Liverpool 3-0, Salah breaking records again. I
I mean, he
mentioned
is
he
the
will be
first.
back.
He is the first. You have to give it to him. He's the first player in Premier League history to score on match day one in 5 consecutive seasons. That's pretty impressive.
So yeah, like I said, he will be back, and he was back. Shithousery was back with Jamie Vardy going up to the Wolves fans.
And howling, oh my god, I
Yeah,
couldn't
I
believe
mean,
that.
no Vardy, no party, I guess. But I think, yeah, like you said, no goalless games in the Premier League. Successful opening weekend, plenty of goals, and a lot, of stuff for fantasy managers to think about. Kai Havertz not starting, Iheanacho being amongst the goals preseason, not starting. So a lot of stuff to think about over there. But yeah, I guess a successful weekend, and we'll be back next weekend. Until then, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and stay safe.